Another edition of Sohan Personal Development, your source of inspiration. Okay, like the promo said, we're going to talk about addictions today. And Keith, if I could look at you a little bit and get some reaction, it would be helpful instead of looking at a black box, or a black screen, or a black piece of plastic.
With 3 cameras in it.
With 3 cameras in it. Wow.
I know.
So, I know you guys hear about addictions all the time, and I get it, but look, it's something that I think we should talk about a lot, often. We may do a lot of podcasts on addictions because,
we should.
Quite frankly, there's a whole lot to talk about addictions. What types? What are the causes? What are the solutions? So let's kind of break it down like that. Let's list some of the addictions. Let's list the top 5.
All right.
From my opinion, this is all from my opinion.
Okay.
My opinions and my life's experience and people in my life that I've gotten to know over the years and all the ups and downs and all arounds and all the crazy stuff that I've seen in business and my personal life. Yeah. So gambling is one. I don't think it's the top, but I think it's one of the top 5. Alcohol, obviously. Drugs. Mental addiction. And, of course, relationships. There's a big problem with relationships, as we all probably know. And if you're a woman, it's a guy. If it's a guy, it's a woman. Or if you're a lesbian or a homosexual, it doesn't matter what your gender is. It's still a relationship.
Your person is a relationship. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. So what happens in those situations, I think, is that people get very addicted to their mate.
Of course.
And then they can't break away. And they start finding out things they don't like about each other. And it's like, well, I don't really want to leave, but then they leave and they come back and they leave, they come back, 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 they leave.
Sure.
And what happens? It's turmoil, it's drama, it's another, here's what happens. It becomes a big distraction.
Sure.
And that distraction is what takes you off your mark to get to where you want to go to in life.
I've lived this.
Am I right or wrong?
No, you're 100% right. But when you're in it,
you rationalize it. You find ways to make excuses
not
to get out of it. But if it's a bad relationship and you can't fix it, you got to get out of it.
Yeah, but she's so pretty.
Well, it really doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, it does.
No. So the bottom line is, when it comes to relationships, you know what? It's got to be healthy or it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys think I'm wrong, chime in. If you think I'm right, chime in on that too. I'm not saying what I say is perfect, but I only speak from experience.
Hey, Camber, Billy Joe, thanks for joining, everybody.
Yeah.
And Mike, thank you, Mike. And Woolwine, Ronald.
Let's talk a little bit about what, and by the way, there's other addictions too. Let's talk about like nicotine. Why are people having such a hard time not smoking?
Nicotine's one of the most addictive chemicals ever.
Why are people having such a hard time not quitting?
Well, it's the nicotine.
What is it about the nicotine?
It's a powerful sedative. One drop of pure nicotine on your skin will kill you.
So
we smoke it.
It's a chemical addiction.
Yeah, indeed.
It's an addiction.
And I've got it. That's why I'm so radical about it.
Okay, so years ago I used to smoke cigarettes. From the age of 15 to 31, something like that, 16 years. And I was a 2 or 3 pack a day smoker.
Right.
How did I quit?
I have no idea. Oh.
How do you think I quit?
Exercise.
Well, that was part of the formula.
What else?
Willpower.
Oh, fine. Yeah, all right.
How about just like deciding that you're going to improve your life and you don't care how much
Well, that's how I quit cocaine.
Why are people not quitting?
I decided my life.
Let's talk about nicotine. Cocaine's another subject.
Yeah, it is.
Why is it so hard that people don't want to quit, can't quit smoking? What does smoking do to you physically?
Well, when you smoke a cigarette, the nicotine triggers a release of blood and extra oxygen into your brain. So you get a mental boost from a cigarette. It can be calming. And here's the interesting thing, though. Nicotine in small amounts feels calming. In larger amounts sets you into a manic mood.
Okay.
So chain smoking
it can affect you different ways.
Indeed.
But the reality is it's a drug.
It is.
And it usually is considered a stimulant.
It is.
So that helps people to feel a little bit more hyped or a little bit better or a little bit more calm, or in some ways it's a calming or it's a stimulant. Either way, right? But maybe different times of the day, different things. The point I'm trying to make is that if you know it's bad for you, like it killed my father, it just killed another good friend of mine today. I found out he smoked his whole life, drank his whole life.
Right.
Now, if you know it's bad for you, why continue to do it? Why, Keith? You tell me.
Well, I'm going to give you my personal response.
Tell me why.
My personal response, here's how I justify it. I'm super addicted to my 8 or 9, 10 cigarettes a day, about a half a pack.
So now you're rationalizing it's okay to smoke less.
I am. And I'm also going to rationalize it like this.
And you're not alone. A lot of people
I'm not. No, that's
use that same argument.
I'm being honest here with This is the other
I
argument.
don't smoke 3 pounds. I just smoke 10, so it's okay.
And the
Come on.
doctors say my lungs are clear. And that's what they say.
Come
However,
on, man.
I'm an intelligent guy. I know I'm damaging my lungs. I know I have a chemical entering my body every day that is not good for me, that would kill me in a higher concentration. And yet, when certain things, triggers happen, I want a cigarette.
Why?
I think it's the stimulus.
It helps
It's-
the stress.
yeah.
But what would be better for the stress versus cigarettes? What's the better solution?
Well,
What's the better solution, Keith?
An old native friend of mine said, forget the cigarettes, get a bag of oranges. When you feel a need for a cigarette, peel an orange and eat it.
Interesting. That's
He
interesting.
carried around a bag of oranges. He was a
So let's go full circle here. When I've talked about what are the causes of addictions, I think stress is a big factor.
Sure.
Let's just talk about stress. What causes stress in your life, Keith?
My life, I avoid stress.
What used to cause stress?
Excitement. People, relationships.
What kind of relationships?
All of them, business, personal. I probably
Disappointing relationships. People that didn't keep their word to you. Those are the things
Yeah.
that I would think would.
Yeah,
cause
I mean,
stress.
the list could go on and on and on.
But stress is caused by a whole lot of those factors, and regardless of how it's caused, it's what's causing you to continue to smoke cigarettes. Is that
Indeed.
what you're saying?
And it's what it is.
Okay. You find something interesting?
Carla says we need to quit preaching willpower. I'm not sure why you would feel that way, and I get that people want to surrender their power. My feeling and Ron's feeling is that willpower is there, and it is important. If you don't have the willpower to make a change, you're simply not going to make it.
Well, let's go full circle on her comment. If you don't want to quit smoking, at least go to like a patch. Go to like a
there's
pouch
that.
where you can put a pouch in your mouth.
Mhm.
It still releases nicotine, but it's better than going into the smoke going into the lungs.
Well, it
A
is.
lot better than smoke going into the lungs. Anything that goes in the lungs except for air is not good for your lungs. And you
No.
only got one set of lungs, guys.
You do.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to preach. I'm just making points. You can make your own decision how you want to live your life. You got one body. You got one mind. You got to take care of it, man. It's all you got. It's not like you can trade you trade your body in for another body. It's just not going to work.
No.
So you have to think a lot about who you are, how you're going to get there, and follow some basic rules.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be healthy, or you're not going to live long, and you're not going to have. Even if you live long and you're not healthy,
It's
what's
the
point?
quality. Yeah. Long
Quality
and
is more
sick.
important than the longevity.
Long and sick is no fun. I
What
saw
are the
that
other
with my
causes
dad.
of addiction? What other reasons do you think people have addiction? Why do they go to cocaine? Why do they go to marijuana? Why do they go to alcohol? Keith, why?
Well, I think it boils down to ego and self-esteem. If
I'm
you
not sure I agree with that.
if you don't
I
feel
think if
good
your
about
self-esteem
yourself,
is in the dumpster, that may be why you're going to these things, because you don't want to face reality.
That
You don't want to
was
face
my
yourself.
point.
Oh, okay.
That's my point.
Okay, cool.
If you aren't sure about yourself, a beer makes you feel a little more sure. 6 beers makes you the life of the party.
The life of the party.
Yeah. So you keep going. And my early addiction was alcohol. Could not wait for Friday. Now here's the interesting thing. Here I am, a 15-year-old kid in Oklahoma, 1972. I didn't drink during the week or smoke a joint at school. We would never have dreamed of doing that.
Boy.
They do now.
Oh, yeah.
They do more than that at school. A friend of mine happened to stop by. Do you agree with that, Steve?
A little bit, yeah.
This is Steve, everybody.
When I was in California growing up, we had a smoking area in our high school.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
We used to smoke in the bathroom. Get in
Yeah.
trouble all the
Right.
time for it, too.
Yeah, we had a smoke
When we
hole.
go outside to the edge of the parking lot, we would smoke. But we always got in trouble for it.
You bet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in today's world, they're smoking grass in the bathroom. They're doing
They are.
stuff in the bathroom. They're doing everything in the bathroom.
We had a girl
The
that
problem is
smoked.
these kids aren't getting good mentorship, in my opinion. Or they wouldn't be doing this, or they wouldn't be. They might try it, but they would quit. But nowadays, it's with social media. It's like it's okay to do everything. Everything's on the table.
Yeah,
And
it
that's
really
just
is.
not healthy. But
Yeah.
there again, I'm not trying to preach. Making a point from my personal observation. I'm sorry, Keith. What were you going to say?
I don't know. I fell out of it. We're covering a lot.
And
and
that's
we're-
what I want to do.
Well,
I
yeah.
want to keep people interested in the process here, because there's a lot to talk about all the
I
time.
know what I was going to say. Willpower also boils down to will you power. I don't necessarily want to quit smoking. I like it.
Well, what
It's-
if your doctor said you got 2 weeks to live? Would you quit? What if your
No.
doctor said if you quit smoking, you got 10 more years, and if you don't, you got 2 weeks?
Oh yeah, then I would.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Of
So
course I
under
would.
the threat, that
Of
makes the
instant
difference.
death. Yeah, but here's the real question: would I?
Well,
I can
you know
say
what?
I
I think
will.
I should follow that formula.
Yeah.
That's probably the best formula I've ever heard to live my life.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
really? Come on, man.
Yeah.
You got to think about this stuff, man. You
Yeah,
got
you're
one
right.
body.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you got to go out and run a marathon, but you could at least quit smoking.
Well,
it's not like
yeah.
the end of the world. When I quit, you know what?
Uh-huh.
It took about 90 days of being uncomfortable and about another 6 months of being a little uncomfortable. But I didn't die.
Thanks for joining us, Coach.
I didn't die.
No.
I got rid of the effing habit, which is a horrible habit. Anyway,
It is. It's nasty. It's dirty. It's damaging.
But it's
it stinks.
bad for your body. It's just bad.
It
bad,
is.
bad,
It is.
Okay.
It is.
All right. Well,
Steve, you don't
somebody-
even smoke, do you?
Not anymore.
Yeah, Steve quit.
Another
Yeah.
convert. I love it.
Steve is a very healthy
How
guy.
hard was it for you to quit?
Pretty easy.
You're lucky. It wasn't easy for me.
Well, I say it was easy because I tried many times. I didn't enjoy smoking.
You tried several times.
I tried several times, and when I finally decided I was going to use the 12-step method,
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
I was managing a restaurant. I quit drinking alcohol. I quit drinking. Doing
You
the
did
drugs I was
everything at once.
doing,
Okay.
and I quit it all at once. Well,
I like
people
it.
said don't do that way. It put too much stress on.
Right.
I went to work. I decided I was tired of smoking, and I picked up some mints out of the candy dish, put them in my
I like
pocket.
it.
Managing a 24-hour restaurant on
Smart.
third shift.
Third
I
shift.
was still able to quit
Well,
because I wanted to.
you wanted to, and he's making a good point because
He
he
is.
wanted to quit.
Right.
So
That
I'm
was
talking
what I'm
to
saying.
people out there that don't want to quit. Okay, I get it, but the people that want to quit, you can do it.
Yeah.
I did it. This gentleman did it.
Right?
Keith's thinking about doing it.
Yeah.
There's
I
always,
quit
there's
some
always hope,
things.
guys. There's always
There's
hope.
always hope, even
And
for
the
a
other
dope
thing
like
was
me.
that
Well,
My daughter, my wife and I had split up. My daughter
Stress.
said, yeah,
More
my
stress.
daughter said, I asked her what she wanted for her birthday. She
Oh.
says, I don't want my mommy today to die from smoking.
There you go.
I took my pack out of my pack, wadded it up,
Yep.
and crushed it in front of her, even though she was going back to her mom's that afternoon. And I
That was it.
never lit another cigarette.
Deep love. There's another way to.
Just to make a
So-
point about how I understand how hard it is to quit. When my father got lung cancer, and he got it from smoking,
Right.
The surgeon told me exactly why.
Wow.
As soon as he came out of the operating room, got to the room, I'm in the room. He goes, "Honey, let me have a cigarette."
Oh,
Now here you are. You've lost a lung because of smoking,
and you want to. That was
So
my
I
fault.
get it.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to quit, but you know what? You have to overcome that. You have to realize, man, it's just not worth it. There's other ways to enjoy your life. There's other ways to
You're
handle
right.
stress, particularly exercise. We'll talk about that another time.
Another time.
Okay, so we could get into more and more reasons for causes, but let's get back to the addictions.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about gambling. That's
All
a
right.
little bit more light and lively than talking about
Yeah, it is.
drugs and alcohol.
It's got lights
Okay,
and
so
bells.
what is it about gambling that causes people to go back and go back and go back and go back?
It's-
I'm just curious what your opinion is.
Well, I like to gamble. I like to go
Why?
to the casinos. It's a rush, and I
It's a
tell
rush.
you, it's very similar to a cocaine rush. I was a cocaine addict for 35 years.
35
I walk in the
years.
casino.
How much money did that cost you?
Well, probably well over $1 million.
Oh, so $1 million gone down the drain.
Yeah.
Nothing to show for it.
Nothing.
Except for some
Weird
bad health.
memories, bad health. Yeah, I had some $10,000 weekends, so I
my
have no
God.
idea how much I went through. I spent a fortune that took me a life to build.
I spent a summer doing cocaine. You know why?
Huh.
Because my brother died from it. I wanted to
Oh.
understand what it was that was so, what the allure was.
Yeah.
And I found out, like you found out. But at the end
Yeah.
of that summer, I said, I can't live.
I
like
don't
this,
need
man.
this, man. I wish
I'm not
I'd have
gonna
made
be.
that.
I'm not going to be a slave to this habit. And I had to get out. And I got out, and I got rid of all those
Thank
people
God.
that were hanging out with me too.
Well,
Like
there
you
you
said
go.
earlier, you got rid of all the bad people.
They're gone now.
Well, not
Yeah.
bad people, but people doing things you don't want to be.
Toxic people.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. So go ahead with your gambling story.
So the gambling, I have the oddest reaction. When I used to buy cocaine, I would need to use the bathroom as soon as I bought it. I would need to defecate.
Really?
Odd, right? Not entirely. Cocaine triggers your colon, and this is kind of gross. I'm sorry, but it triggers your colon, and you have to go. When I walk into a casino, I have to go every single time. I have to go to the bathroom first.
It's the trigger.
It's that trigger, and my brain's going woohoo, and the lights are going, and people are screaming, and it's ding, 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 ding. And they do it that way on purpose. It's built that way on purpose. Now, because I realize that it's an addictive thing, I limit myself on it. I only go rarely, and I go with a little bit of money that I can afford to
when
spend.
it's gone, it's gone.
It's spent money.
So it's a pleasure,
Yeah.
more of a pleasure. But I'm talking about real addiction to where people lose everything.
Well, my cousin Nancy, who I love dearly, she lost everything in the high roller rooms, and
That's
it nearly killed her.
That's addiction.
Yeah, that's addiction.
I saw a video the other day on Facebook where this guy was literally laying on the floor in his hotel room, crying out loud, "I lost everything! I lost."
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, yeah,
So that's the kind of addiction I'm talking.
yeah. And I have actually felt that in Vegas.
But so what you're saying is the allure is the excitement, and this is what brings people into the process.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm not a gambler, so once they get into the process, then it can get worse and worse and worse and worse.
Well, it can
and worse.
because you always have that hope that the next spin is going to make you a
I
millionaire.
see. I got you.
So you spin and you spin and you spin and you spin. You go to the casino, Steve?
I know.
No.
That's pretty concerning.
I know.
Drop
Yeah.
a quarter in every once in a while.
I just went to Vegas
were
and I didn't even do that.
Yeah, he was in Vegas. He didn't gamble at all. What are you gonna do? You
Well,
wouldn't be able
at
to
any
find
rate,
me
guys,
anywhere.
let's move on to another
Moving
addiction.
on.
Food. Why
Food.
is food such a problem? Why do people gain weight? Why do people have to eat all the time? What is it about food? Is it a stress reliever? Is it the chemicals in the food? I talk about bread all the time. I'm a big bread eater.
Yeah.
But I work out all the time, so I never gain any weight. But
Right.
the guys that don't work out and have this addiction to carbohydrates, man, they get big.
Yeah.
Or sugar or bread. Sugar and bread, I guess, are two of the biggest reasons why people gain weight. Is that
I
correct?
believe that to be true.
I'm
yeah.
not sure of that, but
Yeah.
I'm guessing that would be.
Well, bread certainly triggers your body to store fat,
I see.
and sugar triggers your body to store
Okay.
fat because they burn quickly, so you don't need everything else. So your body says, "Okay, I'll store."
So
it.
they're really like addictive ingredients? Are they really like addictive items? Aren't they like sugar and carbohydrates? They're
Okay.
the brain just really enjoy it. It just wants more and more of it. Is that right?
Yeah, and bread was a great idea originally when people were starving all over the
Ah, I
planet,
see.
and a loaf of bread was all you ate in a day. Yeah, that gets you through a day. You can
But
burn
it's
that.
not like that today. Now
Well,
it's
no,
like everything's
it's a
there's
loaf
so
of
much
bread
available.
with salami and cheese and
everything.
everything else on it. So the salami and cheese goes to fat.
So my antidote to this sort of thing is twofold. One is to not eat as much. Number one, and number two, exercise. It's always back to exercise.
Yeah.
When you hear me talk, I'm sorry. I'm always going to be getting back to exercise. It should be the center of the universe.
I
I'm
agree.
not saying you got to go crazy. Hell, if it's just walking a mile a day or 2 miles a day or going on the treadmill, I like to walk in my building.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of miles or a mile. Just get some exercise every single day. Plus, you're going to feel better about yourself for doing something that's not particularly easy or comfortable.
I agree.
Makes sense?
It makes sense. We have Big Country 395 to go live with us.
Okay.
You want to let him on board?
Yeah, fine.
All right, come on in, Big Country.
Okay. So we're talking about causes,
sent the
solutions, and
invite.
types of addictions.
Uh-huh.
And we're just kind of going up and down the line here. You talked earlier about meth. Man, you know what? I can't. That's what killed my brother. Was really the meth cocaine.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was shooting. I
Oh,
didn't know
my
he was
God.
using a needle. I always thought he was just like smoking stuff, like mostly marijuana. But
Yeah.
later, when he passed away, I went into his bedroom, to his bathroom. He had a box of syringes. I could not
Oh
believe it.
my, yeah.
That's when I decided.
That's a shocker for you.
Big
you
time.
know. Yeah.
He was 49 years old. You shouldn't be dying at 49. So that's when I decided to try cocaine. I wanted to know, man,
What
why
is
would,
it?
Why would you put your life on the line? What was the deal?
Yeah.
I found out pretty quick.
You know, my son did the same thing with my addiction. He told me that later in life he tried cocaine a few times, which the other three kids I think never tried it. Kids go one way or the other. They either join in or they repel. Thank God they mostly repelled. Brian said, "Yeah, I tried coke," and he did a little drinking and this and that, but not so bad. He's in recovery right now.
Here's my opinion. Every kid follows the leader. The parent
Yeah.
sets the pace. My
There you
father smoked, I smoked. My father drank, I drank.
That's where my
brother
smoking
did
came
drugs,
from.
I
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
did drugs. I'm just saying. You don't have to like what I'm saying, but I'm just stating facts based on experience.
Well, and it's a good
It makes
point.
sense.
It's a
you
good
become
point.
who you surround yourself with.
You do, and you have to be
The
aware
parent has a
of
big
who's looking at
responsibility,
you.
Keith.
Yeah, that's it, right
And they
there.
don't. And they don't.
Yeah.
They don't understand. I think they need to take. They need to think about that a lot more.
I agree.
I'm not a parent, but as a child, this is how I looked at it.
Yeah.
If they did it, I should do it. I can do it. It's okay if they do it.
You do what you're shown.
Am I right or wrong?
You're right. You're
If
right.
I'm wrong, you tell me I'm wrong.
No, I like it. I like it.
Okay.
Where
I
Well,
think the
yes,
difference there is that like my dad didn't drink because his dad was a baseball player and an alcoholic.
okay.
My father drank.
Okay.
I never knew him until after both my parents passed.
Okay.
And my mom never drank because her whole side of the family was alcoholic.
Okay.
So I drank and I found that I liked the taste of beer, but I never really got a flavor for alcohol.
I didn't either.
Yeah. So beer, but again, it's a little different these days, but it's still, you can get drunk. If I drink a beer today, it's 1-2 beers a day, and it's never when it's in the heat of the day. It makes me sick.
Well, that's a good deterrent. but,
Huh.
but unfortunately, a lot of people don't have that
Wow.
going for themselves, and they start drinking and drink. What happens?
Yeah.
They become addicted, and the next thing you know, my father was an alcoholic. I loved
Yeah.
him to death, but it ruined his whole life.
Wow.
In fairness to him, he was in World War II. He was in the jungles for a year.
Sure.
I'm sure it was got to be one of the worst things that anybody could endure.
It was
and I
bad.
always wondered if that's the reason why why he drank.
It could be.
And then I think once you start drinking, and you've got the certain gene and the chemistry, and you're predisposed to be that alcoholic.
Sure.
It's all over. You're an
Yeah.
alcoholic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people can drink and it doesn't affect them that way, but if you've got that, whatever it is, in
Yeah.
your brain or your
That one little
genetics,
trigger,
and
yeah.
then man, it's all over but the crying.
Yeah.
So, you know what? It's just unfortunate. But in my case, brother with drugs, my father with alcohol and cigarettes. I said when my father died, I said that's when I quit smoking. That was a great example setter. I thought, man, do I want to live like this? He ruined his life with. I don't want to do that. I have to. I can do better than that.
Right.
And that's when I decided to quit. So maybe you guys need somebody to set the example for you. Maybe you need somebody in your life that you can sink your teeth into
Yeah.
to encourage you
Yeah.
to change these particular habits that are not good for you. It's just any way you want to go, any way you want to look at it. It's just not healthy.
It's not.
So Keith, we can go on and on and on, but I think maybe
It could. I think we've made
we
some
made
good
some
points.
We probably made some
We
people
did.
mad.
Yeah.
And hopefully we made
I
some
hope
people
so.
feel a little better about themselves. I'm
Yeah.
hoping anyway.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think a guy named Big Man 6'6" just joined it.
Yes.
Sounds like you. Steve.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, that's great, Steve. We're glad you dropped in. And keep in mind, we'll be going live every Wednesday, every Thursday. We're talking about a lot of things. Please feel free to join in with us. And now back to Ron.
Okay, guys, we're going to close it out. So just saying thanks for joining us for another edition of Soar High Personal Development. And until next time, stay positive. Thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, my pleasure.